Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer and figure out how to completely transform your garden. We're taking it from this constant consumer trap where you're always buying stuff into a totally thriving, self-feeding ecosystem. We're going to break down 40 brilliant source-backed tips today, honestly, things fertilizer companies probably don't want you to know. We are talking about building a space that naturally holds onto moisture, builds up healthier soil, and actually gets more fertile over time, all by just using the stuff you already have lying around the house. To make sense of all these hacks, we're breaking things down into 5 main pillars today: kitchen waste garden gold, natural pest defense tactics, smart moisture and watering, clever design and free plants, and finally, building long-term soil health.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Kitchen Waste Garden Gold, where we literally turn your trash right into treasure.
This really illustrates a massive mindset shift. Instead of just dumping unsalted pasta water, banana peels, or eggshells into the garbage, you've got to realize you are literally throwing away potassium, slow-release calcium, and vital food for your soil's microbes. It's crazy when you think about it. In a self-sustaining setup, your waste actually holds immense value. You just have to use it the right way.
But here's the catch, right? When you're applying things like coffee grounds or alkaline wood ash, it is all about moderation. The golden rule here is a little, but in the exact right place. Like if you pile coffee grounds way too thick around a plant, they'll dry out and form this hard crust that completely blocks water. You definitely don't want to suffocate those roots and give them the coffee jitters. And the same goes for wood ash. Use too much and you'll spike your soil's pH and create a whole mess of nutrient imbalances. So prep work is absolutely everything. You can't just toss the stuff directly into the dirt and hope for the best. Take pasta water, for example. It has to be completely cool, totally unsalted, and have zero oil in it. Otherwise, the salt is going to wreck your roots. And those eggshells, because they're made of calcium carbonate, they break down incredibly slowly. If you just chuck a half a shell in there, your plants can't even use it. You actually have to dry them out and grind them up super fine so the roots can actually absorb that slow-release calcium. Same deal with banana peels. Chop them up. They decompose so much faster that way, releasing all that great fruiting and flowering potassium without attracting unwanted bugs.
Moving right along to Section 2, Natural Pest Defense Tactics. Let's talk about outsmarting those garden invaders.
Think of this as building passive little fortresses to protect all your hard work. Are aphids absolutely driving you crazy on your roses? Well, just plant a few cloves of garlic around the base. The smell actually disrupts their scent signals, making it super hard for them to even find the host plant in the first place. Pretty clever, right? Meanwhile, if you're dealing with slugs, just wrap some copper tape around your pots. It creates this weird shock-like boundary that they completely refuse to cross. Oh, and for neighborhood cats or birds digging up those freshly planted seedlings, just stick a bunch of chopsticks or wooden skewers right into the dirt, spaced a few inches apart. It instantly creates a surface they literally cannot step on.
Now, this next one is a really fascinating bit of bug psychology. It turns out white cabbage moths are super territorial. They will actively avoid laying their eggs in places where they think other eggs already exist. So check this out. By cutting little white rings out of plastic milk jugs or bottle caps and hanging them around your broccoli or kale, you're essentially using their own psychology against them as a decoy. You massively cut down on their egg laying, and you didn't have to use a single drop of pesticide. And hey, if earwigs are chewing up your plants overnight, you can totally take advantage of their natural love for dark, moist, enclosed little spaces. Just leave half of a grapefruit or an orange peel completely upside down on the soil overnight. It creates the absolute perfect natural trap. Then, the next morning, you just lift up the peel and scoop away the bugs hiding inside. It is literally that easy.
Okay, Section 3, Smart Moisture and Watering. It's time to master your water supply. So I want you to picture this scenario. It's over 85 degrees, that afternoon summer sun is just beating down, and you walk outside to see your prized tomato plants drooping and wilting. What is your very first instinct? I mean, naturally, you're going to reach straight for the hose, right? Well, surprisingly, the answer is an emphatic no. When temperatures spike like that, a lot of plants will temporarily wilt just to reduce water loss. It's a self-protection response, not necessarily a sign that they're dying of thirst. If the soil underneath is actually still moist and you panic water them right then, you can literally starve the roots of oxygen and cause some really severe fungal rot. So always check them again the next morning. If the plant looks perked up and fresh, it was just temporary heat wilt. So instead of just trying to read the leaves, push your finger about 2 inches down into the soil in the morning. If it feels cool and moist, just walk away. But if it's dry, we need to rethink our watering habits. Look,
Light, daily watering just trains your roots to stay shallow, which leaves them super stressed out. Instead, you want to water deeply and slowly, really aiming for that moisture to push 6 to 8 inches down into the earth. And if you live in a really hot climate, there's this amazing old-school trick where you bury perforated plastic bottles or clay pots right underground next to the plant. You just fill them up, and the water seeps directly into the root zone with absolutely zero surface evaporation. Total game changer.
All right, diving into Section 4, clever design and free plants, because we want to be working smarter, not harder.
Before you even think about planting a single seed this season, take a step back and evaluate your yard's microclimates. And trust me, every single yard has them. A south-facing wall, for example, is going to be significantly warmer, making it absolutely perfect for your heat-loving plants. On the flip side, shaded corners are nice and cool for those cold-tolerant greens, while areas protected from the wind hold moisture perfectly for herbs. If you actually match the plant to its specific microclimate, you get a massive tactical advantage that beats dumping extra fertilizer on them any day of the week.
The crucial takeaway here is all about optimizing your space and light. Try to place your garden beds in a north-south direction so your taller plants don't just permanently cast a shadow over the shorter ones. And speaking of height, you should totally interplant them. Put your tall corn in the back, the beans right in the middle, and your low-growing lettuce up front so you maximize every single inch of space. Oh, and if you're growing tomatoes, look into the Florida weave, basically weaving string back and forth between stakes. It keeps the canopy open and really cuts down on fungal disease. Finally, for invasive spreaders like mint, do yourself a massive favor and bury the entire plastic container right in the dirt, unless you want mint to be literally the only thing growing in your yard by next spring.
Now, when it comes to getting free plants, please do not rush to the garden center just yet. When you're out there pruning your tomatoes, whatever you do, don't throw away those sucker shoots, those little branches growing right in the elbow between the main stem and the leaves. If you just stick those in water or moist soil for about a week to 10 days, they'll grow their own roots. You're basically getting free clones from your absolute strongest, most disease-resistant mother plants.
And to give those new cuttings a supercharged boost without buying any expensive chemical rooting powders, look around for a willow tree. This is actually incredible. Young willow branches naturally contain super high levels of auxins and salicylic compounds. If you chop up those young branches and soak them in water for a day or two, it extracts all those compounds. You've just brewed a completely free, highly effective organic rooting hormone liquid that you can use to water your new cuttings. How cool is that?
You can also protect those vulnerable new transplants and even extend your growing season just by upcycling things you probably already have lying around. Try cutting the bottom off a clear plastic bottle to create this instant little mini greenhouse over a young seedling. Or, say there's a light, unexpected frost rolling in. Just pop a plain old cardboard box over the plant overnight. That box will trap the ground heat and can raise the ambient temperature by about 3 to 5 degrees, which honestly is often just enough to keep that plant alive. Just remember to take it off in the morning.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Building Long-Term Soil Health. Let's talk about feeding the ecosystem.
The absolute cardinal rules of soil health are to always cover and replenish. For instance, you can easily block weeds by laying down wet newspaper or cardboard. Earthworms completely love it and will eventually eat it and turn it into beautiful, soft soil. You should also try using deep-rooted comfrey leaves as a living mulch to pull trace minerals right up to the surface. And hey, when you finally harvest your beans and peas, do not pull those roots out of the ground. Legume roots are absolutely packed with little nitrogen nodules. Just snip the plant off at the base, leave the roots right there to decompose, and then immediately rotate a heavy feeder like cabbage or corn into that exact spot to soak up all that free nitrogen.
All of this really builds up to one vital rule, and it entirely revolves around a very specific set of numbers. 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The second the summer sun pushes temperatures into this range, bare soil officially becomes your garden's absolute worst enemy. Those bare patches heat up instantly, literally baking your crucial microorganisms alive, evaporating your water in a flash, and causing the surface to harden up like concrete. This is exactly why covering the soil, I'm talking heavy mulching with straw, dry leaves, or wood chips, is absolutely mandatory. Nature never, ever leaves soil bare, and honestly, neither should you.
So we're going to leave you with this final powerful thought, directly from our source material to really summarize everything we've explored in this explainer. You have to stop bagging up your yard waste. If you trap all your organic waste, the grass clippings, the fallen autumn leaves, the vegetable peels, the compost, right there in your yard, and return it all back to the earth, will your garden finally become that self-feeding, unstoppable ecosystem it was always meant to be? Try it out and let the results speak for themselves.